Hi there, I'm Janelle Lawrence. I am a middle school teacher in the Bronx. I have been teaching for 10 years. I normally teach 6th and 7th grade social studies, but this year I'll be teaching 7th and 8th grade social studies. To get started, I wanted to go and start looking at how I'm going to plan my curriculum to ensure that I meet everything. I get to complete my entire curriculum within a school year. So in the first two videos, or the previous two videos to this, I actually went over how many instructional days one actually have. I show you how to actually calculate it, and I gave a free printable for those who want to actually calculate their instructional days as well. You can do it. You can just watch the video and just follow along and do it by hand, or you can print out the printable, or like what I did, I just did it on my tablet. With that being said, normally people think that they have 180 instructional days. However, that is not the case. After looking at or taking out days for field trip, assemblies, reteach if you have those review days, you realize you have a lot less. For me, I have a lot less than 180 days for the simple fact I do not see my students 5 days a week. I see my students only 4 times a week, so that brought down my instructional days to begin with to 160. After doing the calculations, after going through the holidays and breaks that we have, I only have 115 instructional days. That means I have to plan meticulously to ensure that I can cover the curriculum within a school year. Going from 118 days to 115 days, that's 2 or 3 units that you cannot cover if you do not plan well. So today, I am actually going to plan out my units. I want not really plan out, but a lot of traffic. I know, because planner is too much. I'm going to start thinking about how long each unit can be. So you can follow along. You can do this at home with a pen and paper or just in your notes app on your tablet or however you decide to take notes. I like to use the printable that again it is available free. Just look in the description and you can download it. So as soon as I open up my tablet to start recording and showing you how I do it, it needed to update. And instead of saying no, update later, I actually said update now. So we're gonna do it on my phone. Hopefully hopefully it still works. All right. So just to recap, I see my students 40 times 40 weeks per school year. My school year is 40 weeks, and I see them 4 times a week. So I have 160 instructional days to begin with. But after I take out holidays and my buffer days, I'm down to 115 days. All right, these are all the holidays that I have that would take away from my original 160, and then those are my buffer days right there. Now let's go to our unit. It's up to you to determine how many units you're gonna have for your student. My curriculum have them as doing 6 units. I change my unit to 8. I see my students. I change my units to 8, so I have 8 units. That's why it's there. If you have less, you don't have to use it, etc. Now I have a back to school mini unit, but in my calculation, I remove that as one of my as my buffer days, so I won't write anything in that section. So now, out of 115 days, let's do the math. 115 instructional days, and then 8 units. Let's see. The math not mathing right now. So I have 115 days divided by 8 units. So I can do about 14 lessons per unit. So let's start planning. So unit 1 for my social studies is pre-colonial America. So we're going to be looking at how the first Americans came to the continent, or the first people came to the continent. So that's like the Bering land bridge theory, the coastal migration theory, and then we're going on to Native American cultures. So thinking back of what I've done before, or you can look at your curriculum, I'm seeing that's 3 lessons for the first mini unit. Then I have 3 lessons for that mini unit, plus a test. So that's 4 lessons in all. And then for the next mini unit, I'm going to do 5 lessons and then an exam. So 4 plus 5 is 9. So I'm thinking 3 instructional days, 3 plus, I have 3 plus, I have 8 instructional days for this. I don't do reviews. I have 3 days for assessment. Erase this. I have 3 lessons. But tested before. That's wrong. So the first mini unit is 3 instructional days, and then the second mini unit is 5 instructional days. So that's 8 in all. 8 instructional days. I'm not gonna do any reviews. I don't believe in doing reviews. You could do reviews if you want. Assessments. For the first mini unit, I'm gonna give a test. That's gonna be 1 period. So because when you're doing tests, I feel like you have to prep them and everything. So it's not going to be the full 45 minutes. So maybe they have like 20 to 30 minutes to do the test. So that's 1. And then at the end of the unit, I'm going to give them an exam, which I'll give them 2 periods to do that. So that'd be 3 periods. So project days, I just put that as part of my lesson. I'm not going to have it separate. You can do it separate. Like if you're doing instruction and projects, I just put it as part of my instructional days. And then the total days is 9, 10, 11. 11 instructional days. And this is great because I don't want to go above the 14. And this is the first unit. The second unit is about the age of exploration. And I'm going to have a mini unit called the age of exploration. I'm going to have a mini unit called Colombian exchange. I think I'm going to do 2 mini units. And the age of exploration, I think I'm going to do 3 lessons and then a test. And then I'm going to do, for the Colombian exchange, I think it's 5 lessons and then the exam. So again, another 8 days, 3 and 11. In order to do this properly, if you are a returning teacher and you have taught the curriculum before, you can go back into your notes and see how many lessons you taught. If you were to redo it, are you going to eliminate some lessons or add lessons? And you can fill this out. At the end, you should add up to see that you don't have more lessons than you have days. Then you'll have to make adjustments. For me, that's what I'm going to do. If you're a new teacher, you haven't taught this as yet, you can go and look at the curriculum the school provided and see what lessons you have to teach in order to get the content out. Look at the curriculum, see how many units they're going to do it and what lessons you want to do. I also feel like if you're going to do it that way, where you didn't teach it already, look at the units and see how you're going to break them down. I feel like units, you should break your units into mini units. So like for me, the age of exploration is a long thing. I decided to break mine down into the age of exploration itself, where we're just looking at explorers and exploration, and then the Colombian exchange, and use that as 2 separate things. So do how you want, and then do your calculations. When I do the mini units this way, that way I could give a test in the middle of the unit, especially if I'm teaching like a particular literacy skill. I want to see if they got it then before I move on to the new content and still add in teaching that literacy skill. But I'll go more in depth in how I do my mini units. Continue watching this channel, subscribe so that you can get more information. This channel is specifically for middle school teachers, social studies teachers. So I'm going to be talking a lot about social studies content. But if you're not a social studies teacher and just need ideas, continue following along. Hopefully we get to keep this video because it's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of noise, but hopefully this works out. If not, I'll come back on and film with my tablet. Thank you for watching. You can get this PDF. It's a PDF. You can print it out and write it that way, or you can work it on your tablet and take your notes. I will fill this out off screen, and then maybe by the end I can insert how I broke it up my age. Again, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and bye.